I was thinking earlier about the feast when I was writing this sermon, about how all of Yahweh's appointments have a way of renewing our strength and giving us a boost of spiritual energy as they come along. But it seems that during the times in between the feast, we kind of get complacent in our walk, or at least I do. Maybe the fire doesn't burn as hot, and we kind of cool off on our zeal for the Bible and growth in Yahweh's Word. But maybe that's why Yahweh spreads his feast out the way he does throughout the year, so that every few months there's a spiritual lift to get us excited all over again about his Word and his ways, and so that we won't stay sluggish in our walk. Anybody ever feel sluggish or not so spiritual from time to time, or is it just me? Well, I'm glad it's not just me. Well, for me, serving Yahweh is a way of life. It's never an option. I don't get to bow out. I can't just quit. It's just what we have to do. It's what we do. I'm glad to get to do it. I always try to do my best and to walk in obedience, to keep his commandments and to do as he instructed, but sometimes I seem to just barely be walking. And other times I'm on fire and I want to run. But the older I get and the longer that I've been in this race, I've come to realize that we don't always have to run. We don't always have to run. It's okay to slow down and to catch your breath sometimes and just live for Yahweh. Do the basics. Get up in the morning, read your Bible. Study when you can. Love him, pray. You don't have to run all the time. Sometimes there's days that I don't pray. I just forget to pray. Or maybe that's not a good excuse, but it happens, Doesn't mean that I quit living for Yahweh. It's just that every day is not a blazing fire trail. Okay? It's okay to slow down and catch your breath. The zeal won't always be as strong as other times, but I think that's all right as long as you don't quit moving. Just stay the course. Stay the course. When you're moving slow, you just have to stay the course. When your spiritual man seems a little tired, that's all right. Just keep on going. Maybe fast or pray. James says, call for the elders of the church and let them anoint you with oil and pray over the weary or the weak and the sick. The word sick there should be translated weary or weak. That's the idea. That's the intent of James 5. So I think it's okay when we find ourselves in these times, but let's not let that become the norm. Try to find some way to boost your spiritual drive and to push on. We got to finish the race. The man that enters the race isn't the winner, but the one who finishes the race wins the race. What made me think about the zeal for Yahweh is reading through the book of Acts. I've been studying the first 5 chapters of the book of Acts for a while now, and I keep seeing the fire that the apostles have, and I think, man, I wish I had the fire that they have. They seem like they're just wide open all the time, But sometimes we forget that this book does not account for every single second of the apostles' lives. We see pieces of it. The same way we see pieces of Moses' life and King David's life, things like that. We know for sure that there were times when they were persecuted and tried for their faith, and so they got weary too. Paul tells Timothy, drink a little wine with your water. He was overwhelmed with the congregation that he was instructing. And so they get weary too. So I just want to encourage everybody tonight. If you're on fire and running the race strong right now, that's great. That's great. I'm happy for you. Be an example and encourage others to do the same thing. You can be a light into everybody in here, and that's wonderful. But if you're not wide open and full of zeal, just stay the course. Just stay the course. Don't go backwards. Don't turn off to the side anywhere. Just stay the course. Yahweh has seasons of refreshing, and he will send along a boost before you know it. And you'll be back on top and picking up speed.